Welcome everyone to episode 50 of Raw Sport. Episode 50, ladies and gentlemen. What a milestone and what a guest we have for you guys on this amazing milestone. Firstly, we'll go to our co-host, Mr. Tony Sheehan. Tony, what's happening, mate?
Ahmed, I can't believe we're at 50 episodes and we're about to introduce our greatest guest thus far.
Absolutely. Well, today we have one of the best heavyweights in the world, a former world champion, Mr. Joseph Parker. Welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
You know what? I am fantastic. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm good. Life is good. Feeling very blessed, and I'm very happy.
Where do we find you, Joseph? This morning or this afternoon?
I'm in New Zealand, currently in New Zealand, spending some good quality time with my family. And whilst I'm in New Zealand, spending this time, I'm training hard every day, preparing for what's next, and staying ready.
Well, you've probably advanced our next question. What is next?
You know what? I haven't really been told who's next. I've been told maybe September or maybe October. But I'm just at the moment I'm in New Zealand with my nutritionist, strength conditioning trainer, and we're just building. Now we have a sort of a time frame, September or October. We're just going to build and be ready for when that fight is locked in.
Now I'm going to hand you over to Ahmed, who's going to actually penetrate your exterior and get into the guts of it.
Hit me.
Joseph, we all know about your current stance in the world of heavyweight boxing and the influence you've played as an individual, I believe, especially on this part of the world. When you beat Andy Ruiz many years ago now, you put New Zealand/Australia on the map in terms of heavyweight boxing. What many people don't know enough about is who is Joseph Parker? Where did this journey start for Joseph Parker?
You know, it all started here in New Zealand, South Auckland. Both my parents are born in Samoa, moved to New Zealand for a better life. And my dad was named after Jack Dempsey. So my dad's name is Dempsey. And when he was a baby in Samoa, someone stood on his leg. So my dad walks around with a limp. One leg is skinnier than the other leg. Always loved boxing. Had a lot of street fights. Said he won a lot of them, which I could believe. And at the young age of 2 or 3 years old, he introduced myself and my younger brother to boxing. We watched videotapes of all the greats back in the day, Larry Holmes, Holyfield. We watched Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. And then I fell in love with the sport myself. And I had my first amateur fight at 12 years old. And 16 years old, started traveling the world, and the rest is history. But I started at a very young age. And I'm thankful to my dad for introducing me to boxing. And it's the love, it's the love that I was looking for in terms of sports.
Of all those legends, who do you base your boxing prowess on?
You know what? I always liked Lennox Lewis. I like Lennox Lewis because he was a unified lineal, undisputed champion of the world. He came back, he beat the two guys that beat him, and he retired at the top of his game. He knew when to stop, he knew when to get out. And now that I've met Lennox a few times now, and I'm still like, like I've just met my idol. You know what I mean? So I do respect and really follow Lennox Lewis when he was fighting in his prime.
Well, they say you should never meet your idol. Was he everything and more, or did your expectations outweigh who he is?
You know what? Yeah, you're right. They say you never meet your idol because you never know they might change how you feel. But he was just very respectful. But he also sort of gave me a bit of praise, and that sort of surprised me. And then so we've become good friends now, I believe. Hopefully we are. And it's great that we're able to be in Saudi Arabia together doing a bit of commentary. And it was just great to be amongst that circle of group or circle of people.
Did he know who you were when you were first introduced?
Yeah, he started. He said he watched a few of my fights, and he wanted to give me a bit of advice. And I was like, listen, I want to take all advice I can get.
How good does that make you feel?
Yeah. Growing up and watching all these fighters on TV, and we're from little New Zealand, or on this part of the world, small. Australia's a lot bigger, but this side of the world is very small, from New Zealand, Samoa, and then being able to meet and rub shoulders with these types of people and champions and legends. It was a bit of a shock in the beginning. Sometimes I'm still surprised now when I'm in Saudi Arabia and I look around the room. I'm like, geez, how this is a dream come true, and how did I get here? Obviously hard work, but it's just sometimes you have to pinch yourself, like this is actually real.
Joe, you were on this amazing winning streak. You won your world title against Andrew Ruiz. You backed it up a couple of times, and then you faced Anthony Joshua, was at the time the biggest heavyweight in the world, if not still, in terms of profile. You had a loss to Joshua. You had a loss to Whyte, which I think I actually remember that fight vividly. I thought you could have beaten him, but I don't know. What I really would love to understand, you were at the top of the sport, then you had 2 straight losses. What was happening through those moments there during that period of time? How did you pick yourself back up and go back on that run?
You know, facing Anthony Joshua, obviously winning the world title, then facing him, it was a massive task and a massive opportunity to set up my family, but also to achieve what I wanted to achieve in boxing. Going into that fight, he was the favorite, rightly so. He was a big puncher. He stopped everyone. And I guess going into the fight, looking back after the fight, it was the wrong game plan for myself and our team. And he was able to, you know, like dictate the pace of the fight with his height and his reach. And then coming off that fight, I was like, you know what, I still got what it takes, right? And I backed myself straight into another fight with Dillian Whyte. And like you said, you remember that fight. I do remember doing quite well at the beginning, and then I got a headbutt, which I felt like changed the course of the fight.
Yeah.
Some parts of the fight I do remember, some parts I don't remember. But it was a very close fight, and Dillian took the win. And so there's 2 losses in a row, and I'm like this it can't end like this.
Yeah.
You're allowed to swear.
Huh?
You're allowed to swear.
I am allowed, but if I ever do, my mom's gonna smash my face. And after 2 losses, you have to sit down and then you have to really look around and like this. I have a loving family, parents, siblings, wife, and kids. I have a loving group of people around me, and when you surround yourself with these types of people, you know, when times do get hard, they're there to help you and lift you, and just to remind you of who you are. Sometimes you can't lose yourself.
Wow, powerful. And then you went on a winning streak. You got back up. You went on a massive winning streak, and then Joyce. And then I thought, wow, I think everyone backed you against Joyce. So then you had another dip, which was Joyce himself only, obviously that fight there. Then you had to pick yourself back up again. So the whole moral of the story here is the resilience you've shown across that journey. Then after Joyce, you come out, you get a few wins. Then you beat Zhang and Wilder. Wilder's the biggest puncher in boxing today. So right now, would you say you're at the pinnacle of your career?
I would say, you know, after the Joyce loss, and there's a lot of questions, and like going into that fight, if I had the people that I have around me now, I wouldn't have actually fought in that fight. I was very sick leading into the fight. No one was there to tell me. Like we all thought I was fine. Like even me mentally, I thought, you know what, I'll smash this guy. Physically, I had nothing. Like after 1 round, I was gone. So Joe Joyce looked good in that fight, and he got me out of there. And congratulations to him. And then after losing again, like 3rd time in a row, you're like this is, like you said, I had to show resilience, and I had to be persistent, and I had to make changes. And I feel like now in the past year, I've found the best team that works for me, and I've seen it, and I've seen it. I've seen everything that we've done come to fruition, and then now I'm just I'm content, and I'm a happy fighter, and I didn't want to go out there and keep chasing all these big fights. I just wanted to be involved in big fights and give the best of myself and the best version of myself. And now that I've found, you know, I got Andy Lee as a head trainer doing the boxing, got George Lockhart, nutrition, strength and conditioning, recovery. I feel like I got the best balance in the world, and I love this journey more than I did before.
How sick were you?
Very sick. I got sick. So the sparring partners were in camp with me with Joe Joyce. So we all got sick at the same time. Me, Martin McCauley, and a few other guys that came into camp. We all got sick 2 or 3 weeks before the fight, and then I thought it was enough time to recover. I've done that much mental work because you speak to a psychologist and you get mentally prepared, and I feel like that part took over the physical part. Like I am ready, and then next thing you know, he is not ready.
Hey Joseph, are you superstitious by any chance?
No, not superstitious. No.
Well, the reason I ask is, and we don't want to highlight your 3 losses because you're 35-3, which is incredible in itself. But your 3 losses have all been on UK soil.
You know what? I'm gonna smash you, Brits. I do want to avenge the losses that I had in my career. Firstly, I've done a video to call out Dillian Whyte. He responded, but I'm not sure where his the position where he is, like in terms of his license.
He's in trouble. Yeah.
Called out Anthony Joshua, and there's talks of him fighting Dubois, who's come off a good win. And then I wanted to avenge the loss to Joyce, but at the moment he's not in the circle that's sort of operating in the Saudi group.
Speaking of call-out videos, you're probably an innovator in the sport. You produced an awesome call-out video. What motivated that?
I've always wanted to call out Dillian Whyte because we have a sort of like an up and down relationship. Like sometimes I'll text him and he'll be nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll text him and then he'll say, "I don't like you. What do you want?" You go, "F off." Like, so it's a very up and down relationship. And one of my friends who does all my videos and ideas, he said to me, "Why don't we do this?" I said, "You know what? Let's do it."
Where can they see it? What's your Instagram?
It's on Joe Boxer Park on Instagram. It's on Twitter as well, and Facebook, and I think a lot of people have shared on YouTube.
It's everywhere. Yeah, it was a really funny video actually, and he made the rounds. But that's Dillian Whyte in general though. He does that with everyone. I've seen him turn on Eddie Hearn and turn on everyone. He's like up and down all the time. So I wouldn't be too offended if I were you.
Oh, listen, I'm not offended. Like I everyone that I've had a fight with, I keep in touch with. It's just that him and I are just a bit different keeping in touch, you know? Up
Yeah.
and sort of like it's like we're fighting through text.
Oh, the characters in boxing. Take us through the whole relationship with Andy Lee and how instrumental he's been in this revival of Joe Parker.
You know, when I made the decision to leave my coach Kevin Barry,
Yeah.
and for 8 years in Las Vegas, and we had the best time together. And I can't fault him for anything. He gave everything he had every time we trained it, for every camp, every fight, and we became champion of the world together. But when I made the decision to leave, I was thinking of training with a few other trainers, and I called Tyson Fury and I said, "Tyson, I'm getting ready to leave my training. Can you suggest to me who you think I can train with?" He's like, "You know what, Joe, leave it to me." Next thing, he texts Andy. Andy's free. Calls me 4 days later. I'm flying to Ireland to meet Andy and prepare for Chisora. So it was a quick turnaround, and we had to really get to know each other in the 6-week camp that we had leading into the first Chisora fight. Everything with Andy it's simple but effective, and the basics is very important. And that relationship is growing, and then when we added George Lockhart, that made it like complete. That made it the best. I feel like it's the best team I have ever had.
Wow. He comes from some very good roots, the whole Kronk gym route line. How has Tyson Fury played? Has Tyson Fury played any role in your career? Because you guys seem to be very, very tight.
I followed Tyson a lot back in the Periscope days, which is Twitter and video.
Yeah.
We used to keep in touch. Then he fought for the world title and won it. Then went for his his life went downward spiral. And I was still keeping in touch with him, and I had a lot of respect for him. And then when I shifted over to train with Andy Lee, we moved over to England. Tyson gave us his house to live in, gave us a gym.
Wow.
Gave me like his glove sponsor. He's given me like the only thing he didn't give me was his wife. He mentions, right? But he's for me, it's like an older brother that just doesn't want anything in return, but just he did everything for me. Even now, he's giving me the opportunities to link up with his manager and to get me onto the Saudi cards. Like if it wasn't for that relationship, I wouldn't be involved in what's happening now.
Joseph, is Tyson and/or Alexander Usyk, are either of those two on your to-do list?
Yeah, Alexander Usyk, 100%. Tyson, because we're so close, it'll come down to it'll be some sort of I don't know if he could make my life better by looking after my whole family for generations to come. If we had a fight, then he'll do it. Like he does things to look after people and to help people. That's what he's done for me.
So in terms of Tyson, is he's more worried about everybody else rather than himself?
A lot of the cases, yes. But like when Tyson beats Usyk, he's going to be the best in the world. They probably have another rematch, but I want to fight. Like my goal in boxing is to fight the best in the world and the best out there. And if it has to be him, then I'll sit down and like, hey, come on, Tyson, let's do something together. And then after that, let's go have a nice pizza or something. I don't know.
Well, hopefully it's only pizza, because we wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
Depends what the toppings are.
Joseph, where we going moving forward? The heavyweight division is stacked. You're in a very good position. I just hope they don't just put you on hold for a year or two, because we've seen that before. Are we going to see you fight in the near future? And is it in Saudi or what is going on, mate?
If it's September, it'll probably be in England, but most likely Saudi Arabia in October. And what they're saying to me is it might be another rematch with Zhang. I'm not
really
sure. Zhang could fight Joshua and I could fight Dubois, and like there's all these fights that can happen, but for some reason they keep mentioning Zhang's name, so there might be a possibility, stronger possibility. And if it does happen again, I'm going to be a lot better in that fight. I'm going to be, if it does happen again, I'm going to throw more combinations, be sharper, and I'm going to put on more muscle and more weight and be, I need more power, to hurt the big man.
Sorry, go on, Ahmed.
Do you believe, was there anything that didn't go to plan on the night against Zhang?
Yeah, getting hit and getting dropped twice. The plan was.
Other than that, we're talking about like the game plan and so on. Yeah.
Other than that, everything else was quite on point with the movement, changing, not being 3-dimensional, changing the heights, angles, different side to side, and it sort of put Zhang on hold. And he was a bit wary of that. And if you're an easy target, he'll put the pace on and he'll chase you down. And
he's a big puncher. Yeah.
He's a big puncher, Zhang. That's what he did with Wilder on the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. So if you were to fight again, what would you do differently, brother?
I'll do a similar style because that worked, but I want to up the output, but just be smart doing it. And also, I sit down more on my punches and make them a bit more effective.
Wilder, were you surprised with the way that fight panned out?
I was favoriting Wilder to win because I knew how dangerous his right hand was. But when he came out and he wasn't the same Wilder who was aggressive, and he was more on the back foot and didn't really push the pace, and he was waiting for Zhang to be offensive while he was being more defensive, and it sort of surprised me a bit.
Wow, there you go. All right, awesome. Tony?
Yeah, Joseph, your last two fights have been in Riyadh. Is Riyadh the new Las Vegas of boxing?
You know what? Riyadh, my last 3 fights have been there, and I've won all 3 there, so I love Riyadh.
Yeah.
I feel like if they did get involved in boxing, we wouldn't be seeing the big fights. And now that they're involved, all these big fights are happening. They're putting a show on in Wembley in September. They're also putting a show on in LA in August. So they're taking Riyadh season and what they're doing in Riyadh all around the world. They're starting to put it. I think they might even do one in Australia. Who knows?
Wow.
Joseph, I heard little whispers of a fight in Melbourne.
Tell me the whispers? What is it?
I'm full of all the news.
But if they can fight around the world and put some shows in New Zealand and Australia, all on this side of the world, that'll be incredible for our fighters who are fighting here and give them the opportunity to be on the world stage.
What are the chances we see a big show here in Melbourne?
I think a big chance. Let's start working on it together.
Done. There you go.
Joseph, would you like to fight on the same card as, say, Sonny Bill Williams?
I'll fight on any card.
But is it like, do you have anything to do with him? And have you seen his progression?
I've seen Sonny. His last fight was against Mark Hunt, which was a tough fight.
Yeah.
But I do follow Sonny, and he's very much into his religion, but also he's a family man, and he's spending a lot of time with his family whilst training as well. So I'm sure when he does make his comeback, he's gonna be able to figure out what he did wrong in the last fight, and he can. He's a great athlete, Sonny Bill.
Yeah.
Tony,
let's get something right here. I think the former heavyweight champion, Sonny's going to be fighting on his card.
No, you know, I think Joseph knew what I was getting to.
It can't be the other way around.
I'll fight on
I
any
get this guy's humble. Like, I get it.
Joseph knew what I was
Let's
alluding
be
to.
real here.
I'll fight on any card, and I'll fight anyone, and I'll fight anywhere around the world. I love fighting, and like I said before, the journey continues, and I love it more now. Like my passion has grown, and now that I have everything right, I just want to give the best of myself in boxing while I'm still in it.
Well, you're 32, right?
32, got a solid 3 years, and then
Still young, brother.
I'm going to become a pilot.
A pilot. You fly your own private jet.
Tony, it sounded pretty good, eh?
Joseph, I've got one more. Now, we're obviously doing some research with you. What does OM at the end of your name mean?
My name?
Yeah, on Wikipedia it says Joseph Douglas Parker, OM.
Joseph Dennis Parker. That's
Yes,
when I announced in the ring, it's Lupe Soliai Lauli Alemalia Tor Joseph Parker.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So what, does OM mean anything?
You know what? That's a very good question. I am going to do some research myself.
Joseph, before we let you go, there's a video on social media going around. It's viral.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people that don't understand what that video is about in your culture, what that means, so on and so on?
It was a nice sunny day, right? I caught a fish.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm hungry for a fish. So in the Samoan culture, and I'm sure all the other islands are very similar, Fiji, Cook Islands, I hope they're similar, we like to eat raw fish. And raw fish means you catch out of the water, you put it to sleep, you kill it, and then you eat it raw. And that's, I skinned it and I ate it. And you know what? It was one of the best kawais I've ever had.
Wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the explanation behind the viral video, because that's gone bonkers. That's everywhere.
I know, and it's, do you know what? It's all mixed emotions. Like, that's good on him, and then some other like, what a disgusting creature.
That's the vegans and the greenies.
I'll have to do it again.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joseph Parker. Joseph, before we let you go, where can we find you online, brother?
Joe Boxer Parker on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And can you please come back on and announce your next fight with us?
Of course. As soon as we lock me in the next month or so, let me know, and we'll jump on and do it again.
We'd love to have you on, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Parker, thank you very much for joining us on Raw Sport. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you all on the next episode of Raw Sport.